Starting the live on his Facebook. I don't know. Have you started the live? Yes. Okay. So like I said, you can watch the live on Jamia Masjid Bilal page. You can watch it on TikTok. Share it as well, inshallah. And God will bless you. Quickly going over it, we've already covered Iman. I told you about the hadith of Jibreel, hadith 2. إيمان إذا آمنت بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله واليوم الآخر وكتبه بشره من الله تعالى والبعث بعد الموت. And we spoke about ghusl. I told you that the scenarios in regards to ghusl. So menses and postnatal bleeding for women, the entering of the penis of a man into a woman, or the ejaculation of a child. I told you about the ages of how someone becomes when someone becomes a baligh. So now we're going to move on. So that was the ritual bath basically. Then what we have is, once ghusl is covered, now we go on to wudu. So, in regards to wudu, I just want to check the notes. So, in regards to ablution, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, again, chapter 5 verse 6, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in regards to wudu that Ya ayyuhalladina amanu, that all you who believe, when you rise to perform the prayer. So look now, somebody says to you, why do you do ghusl? I told you, chapter 5 verse 6, in Surah Ma'idah, Allah says, when in the state of junub, take a bath. Yeah? In the same verse, in Surah Ma'idah, Allah also talks about wudu. Allah says, O you who believe, when you rise to perform the prayer, wash your face and your hands, including your elbows, and wipe over your heads, and wash your feet, including your ankles. Now, why would one need to know this? Because look, in our religion, we do so many things. And when people ask us, oh, why do you do this? Why do you do ghusl? Why do you do wudu? Answer, because Baba said, or because Ustadi said. That kid, my mom said about wudu. You can't say because your mom said, innit? You have a roza, or you have wudu, you have ghusl, you pray salah for the sake of Allah. As Muslims, at the bare minimum, should we not know where it's written? Mate, what's that you're doing? I'm doing ablution. Why? Because God says in the Quran, in chapter 5, verse 6, God says, before you pray, this is how you do wudu. How do you know you do like that? Because the fard of wudu are mentioned. Now I'm going to mention to you the fard of wudu. Remember, we have a different differentiation here. I'm going to mention to you the fard of wudu. The fard of wudu are 4, and to be fair, because of time, I might whiz past the sunnahs, but the fard of wudu are the main ones. And in reality, those of you who learn the verse of the Quran, you should already know the fard of wudu now, because Allah said it. So what is fard 1? Fard 1 in regards to Well, this is a good question. Somebody said, when I work, there is no wudu facilities, even though we have access to water. Is it better to do qada namaz at home, or is it better to do tayammum? In this situation, you can't do tayammum because there's access to water. What you need to do really, qada is not good as well, because even qada namaz is punishable. Somebody that needs qada namaz will still be punished because he should have read namaz at its time. What you should do is number one, and I'm going to go on to this, number one, you should wear khuffayn. Khuffayn are the leather socks. You should wear them so you don't have to wash your feet, number one. And if you don't have to wash your feet, then the rest of wudu will be easy and your work sink anyway. Wash your face, wash your arms, do masah, wipe all the socks. You get it. It's not hard. And I'll explain the khuffayn after I tell you about wudu. The fard of wudu are simple. The fard of wudu are, someone said to me, Allah, please speak Urdu. I can't speak Urdu in front of you, huh? I speak with you. But you know, we try. Anyway, part one is washing the face once with purifying water. Even though you say once, the sunnah is 3 times. Lengthwise, so why is the face look in Islam? This is very important for those of you watching. When you wash your face, it's from your natural hairline to and including the chin, earlobe to earlobe. Why do I say natural hairline? Because once you get a bit older and your hair starts going back, don't start like doing like this here. It's where your hair was natural hairline to the bottom of your chin, earlobe to earlobe. Because he says here, lengthwise, periphery of the face is from the hairline above the forehead till below the chin. And breadthwise, so wideways, is the facial skin from its highest point to the, and the other way is from between earlobe to earlobe. Yeah? So hairline to bottom of your chin, earlobe to earlobe. So those of us that do wudu like this, splash the water, and in reality it's the baba behind you that gets wet. That's not wudu. You have to wash. How do you do it? You get water, you rub it on your face, you go like this. Then you get it again, maybe one side, the other side. Does that make sense? The whole face should be wet. Top of the head to the bottom of the chin, earlobe to earlobe. Moreover, if the beard is thin, where skin can be seen, washing its outer as well as inner hair, including the skin, is hard. So if you have a thin beard like mine, then you have to get the water and rub it into your skin. If the beard is like these two brothers is quite thick, we have a thick, mashallah, like a lion beard, one. Then what you do is, but if the beard is dense, when the skin cannot be seen, then it shall be obligatory to only wash the outer hair, meaning then you just wash your beard and you get it. Approve, wash the beard and then you wash the beard. That's fine. Does that make sense? Thin beard, skin, outer beard not. Number 2, wash both hands up to and including the elbows once. When you wash your elbows, so part 1, washing the face, when you wash your arms, in Islam, you wash your arms from the tip of your longest finger up to and including the elbow. So if I do wudu and I wash to here, is my wudu done? No. And so you know the people that do this? They do ground roof. Your wudu is not done because you do this, your whole arm should be wet. Does that make sense? So what do you do instead of doing like one of these ones, like you're doing a dance move? You open the tap and you put your arm under it and you wash your whole arm. Does that make sense? Wash your whole arm properly. Or if you do this, then you make sure you rub your arm. But water must pass through your whole body. Number 3, must. Wiping 1/4 of the head once. The term must literally means passing the hand over something. And in the Sharia, it refers to passing the wet hand over a part of the body. Technically, if you did this, the must would be done. However, the best way to do the sunnah way is 3 fingers all the way back, and then back forward, and then do your neck and between your ears. Does that make sense? But if you done it with one hand, the technical fard would be done, but why use the barakah of using the sunnah? You should connect to the sunnah and do the sunnah. But these are the fard, if these are missed, if a sunnah is missed, is your wudu still done? Yeah. If the fard is missed, is your wudu done? Number 4, wash both feet up to and including the ankles. If you just wash your toes and your heel, your wudu is not done. Your ankle must be washed as well. You must wash your ankle and around your ankle, otherwise your wudu is not done. This is where now when I got the question of if there's no wudu facilities at work, what should be done? Then how you do the wudu is, you wear khuffain or leather socks. Nowadays you can get waterproof socks, about thick one, I think they call it seal leather or something, or seal thick waterproof socks, yeah? You get them, they're on Amazon for about £16 or something. Sacrifices have to be made. You want God to bless you in the world, let us spend £16 on socks. You get these socks, what you do wudu at home and you wear these khuffain, these leather waterproof socks. When you wear them, when you go to work and you break your wudu, all you have to do is normal wudu and you just wipe over the top of the sock. You no longer have to wash your feet. Everyone understood? That's what khuffain are. Khuffain are literally, if you have your feet, for those of you here, if you just wipe over them like this, you just wipe over the khuffain, the wudu is done. These are not khuffain, obviously. You have to have these thick waterproof socks. I can't remember what they're called. Check on Amazon. I think they call it seal or something. But they're like cotton socks, normal socks, but they're very thick, they don't absorb water. Now other schools, not schools in the Shafi, Maliki, but like our other brothers, the Salafis and so on, they will sometimes wipe over their trainers or wipe over normal socks, but that's to them, that's their belief. So when I'm not Mufti, I'm going to put fatwas in there. But me, as you, as my students and my congregation and the people watching, I'm telling you as the Imam here, we don't do that in the Ahlul Sunnah. Yeah, let me tell you, boys, you're such a stink. Don't do that. You wash your feet. If you can't wash your feet, you invest in some khuffain. Does that make sense? Part 1, wash your face. Hairline to the palm of your chin, earlobe to earlobe. Part 2, tip of your finger up to and including the elbow. Part 4, proper masah. And part 5, wash your feet up to and including the socks. Those of you that have been here for long, if you want to sit on the chair, I have no problem. You can sit on the chair, no problem. That's that, yeah? Then, there's one other thing I'm going to add extra. In regards to the sunnahs, as you know, before you do wudu, you make the intention. In the Hanafi school, it's sunnah. In the Shafi school, it's farz. Make an intention, wash your hands, obviously. Then, you do junuti between, these are from the top of my head without going through the book. You do the junuti, you rinse your nose 3 times, you do junuti with your finger. You rinse your nose, then you wash your face, then you do masah, do the back of your ears, you do the back of your neck, then you do the arms, and then you wash your feet. These are the sunnah. And obviously in the book there's more. There's something that's known as Sunan al-Fitra. Known as Sunan al-Fitra. These are, as it states in the book, Allah Azza wa Jal has chosen certain practices for the prophets, and He has enjoined us to follow them regarding those practices. He has rendered those practices such rights that occur often so that those who adopt them can be identified and distinguished from others. These qualities are known as Sunan al-Fitra, natural practices, and they are, I'll tell you. Number 1 for a man is to grow your beard. Sunan al-Fitra for a man is to grow your beard. It's a natural practice. Yeah? Now, ulama debate whether it's wajib or whether it's not. I'm not going into that. I'm just telling you Sunnah al-Fitra. This is something Allah told the Prophets to do, and as following the Sunnah, we should do it as well. Grow your beard. I'm not even going to discuss the length. I'm just telling you should grow your beard. Have some for our patient here. Sunnah al-Fitra, number 1. Number 2, for the Muslims especially, is a circumcision. For the parents, they should have their children circumcised. It's not wajib. Some people say that if you don't circumcise your child, you're not Muslim. What circumcision are you Muslim? It makes sense. If a 70-year-old man becomes Muslim now, if they take the doctor to get circumcised. It's Sunnah al-Fitra. It's a clean practice. It's a practice that Muslims do, and one of its reasons is because it helps you to be very clean. That's all it is. You should get your children circumcised. Number 3 is to clip your nails. should cut your nails regularly. You should cut your nails ideally Juma to Juma. If they grow before that, you should cut them. But always try to cut your nails. It's not nice to have dirty nails. And look what it says here. It's something that distinguishes and identifies us from the others. Muslim man, nice neat beard. See, I do the way we do today. I'll be like a Jamia with the face. Very nowadays, you talk. If you look nice and if you present yourself. If a man wants his wife to look nice, the way think your wife wants you to look nice. It's a two-way thing. And so, as a man, you should look nice. You should dress well. And the same goes for the women. How can I be but the man, grow your beard, have it nice, clean shaped. Number 2, circumcision, which is done after. Number 3, the nails. These are the nails of your hand or your feet. Always trim them, have them cut, that's fine. Here, I don't know why, in Birmingham it happens as well. Like, I don't know, men feel they go somewhere to get their hands cleaned or checked when go pedicure, manicure. Or do yourself at home, I don't care, just do it. Look after your dead skin, look after your hands. You're not a Muslim. Like, if you read about the Sahaba and stuff, these are men now. They have qualities in it. You have to be, as a Muslim, you have something about you. You shouldn't have to walk past someone and guide and tell you about that. You should smell nice. If you want to invest in, if you want to invest for this reason, if you want to invest in good perfume, you should. Number 3 is to trim the mustache. Yeah? Now you cannot one of them have a jack mustache you want, that's hungry. But you should trim your mustache as a Muslim. Sometimes the Ahl Sunnah ulama, they debate whether you should shave your mustache completely. There was a Shaykh, Shah Ahmad Nurani, a great Shaykh in Pakistan. He had no mustache on. He proper had them clean. That's fine. But nowadays they say if you're going to grow mustache, you differentiate what mustache you follow. You should at least trim them so they don't touch your lips. Yeah? So if you want to one of them, that's fine. But make sure you trim your mustache from your lips, yeah? Because that doesn't look nice as well. Number 5 is to shave the pubic hair. This is for men and women regularly. In Islam, we're told as well, you should try to shave. There's a weight limit to shaving them. You either shave them every 7 days from Friday to Friday, or up to 15 days, maximum 40 days. But you have a choice to either shave them every 40 days or shave them until they become the size of a grain of rice. You get it? More than that, obviously, will be simple. And the same goes for shaving your armpit hair. These things are sunan al-fitrah. These are things fathers should be telling their sons and mothers should be telling their daughters. These things should be told. These are things you should ingrain into your children. That, make sure you clip your nails, make sure you look well. When you're older, trim your moustache, and make sure your pubic hair done. These are things, sadly, today, they're not taught in Masajid. Well, obviously, the Imam not going to stand on the minbar and Shuma and say, you know what I mean? But these are courses we should take and we should learn. And this is known as what? Sunan al-Fitrah, yeah? These are 6 things. Growing your beard, circumcision, known as a khitan, clipping the nails, trimming the moustache, shaving your pubic hair, and also shaving the hair of your underarm, yeah? Because it says here, these are from amongst natural practices with respect of the saying of the Prophet ﷺ. 5 actions are from nature, fitrah. Circumcision, shaving the pubic hair, plucking the hair of the armpits, plucking, obviously, I'm not trying to suck on that, this is what the Hadith is saying. Clipping the nails and trimming the moustache. And this is mentioned in Sahih Bukhari. It says it is desirable to shave the pubic hair and clip the nails and trim the moustache at least once a week to remain completely clean and comfortable with oneself. The best day to do these actions is the Friday. However, it is permissible to carry them on over 15 days. It is severely repugnant to leave these practices for more than 40 days, and the one doing so deserves to be cautioned. Since Anas radiallahu anh said, it has been prescribed for us regarding the trimming of the moustache, the clipping of the nails, the plucking of the hair of the armpits, and shaving the pubic hair, that we do not leave them for more than 40 nights. And this is Sahih Muslim. So here obviously it says plucking, but people can wax or shave and so on. But this is known as what? Sunan al-Fitrah, yeah? And this is very important. So we've covered wudu. We covered wudu. we've covered ghusl, and we covered extra sunan al-fitra, yeah? So that is the basics of tahara covered. So now we've done Aqidah, we've done Islam, Iman, Ihsan, and now we've done Tahara as well. So Iman, Islam, Aqidah is done, and Tahara is done. Now we've got Salah. It took us about 2.5 months. Salah is easy though. Wallahi, Salah is easy. I'll go over it quickly for you. In regards to Salah, the conditions of prayer, I'm going to tell you the 6 preconditions of prayer and the 6 conditions in prayer, basically, and we'll move on. We're not going to go into too much of it. And then I'll tell you about that which breaks the prayer. Until then, any of you here got any questions?
You know the socks you said, I mean, I think the sealskins are £24, but do they not have to be leather and just the main thing?
So, you know these ones, yeah? There's a Sheikh, Hanafi Sheikh called Sheikh Bilal Brown. Recently, he done his research. The sealskins are £24 on Amazon. You know, Amazon boycott, you know, the one on eBay they're cheaper. And that's what they call,
Sealskin.
Sealskin, but they're not really sealskin. They're called sealskin, they're thick socks. Khuffain have conditions as well. The condition of Khuffain must be waterproof, must be self-standing, must cover your ankle. These are the 3 main conditions, and you shouldn't have holes in it. If you get holes in your Khuffain, the hole should be less than like your little toe, or combined the hole should be less than 3 toes. If these conditions are met, you can wear them. Them Khuffain are good. The sealskin, because the leather ones are, because the leather ones you normally wear socks and then you wear them on top, and then you wear your trainers. That means your trainers are no good now, you have to buy 2 sizes up. The sealskin are good. If you buy them, they're called sealskin socks. And the ulama, there's another guy called Sheikh Bilal brand. You know, some ulama did research and they said they're fine. However, if you speak to another mufti or something, you can get the fatwa from them. It depends who you follow. So personally, yeah, they're fine. Anything else? Moses are the Khuffain, the leather ones, yeah, they're fine. The Moses leather, they stay on your feet, but they have to cover your ankles. If the Khuffain, the Moses, or the leather sock, the sealskin, if they don't cover your ankles, they're not classed as Khuffain. Or
What's the like rule on that papers, haircuts?
You know, Sheikh Asrar done a podcast with a guy called Dili Hussain here, and they were talking about the Qaza haircut. The Qaza haircut was that hair which is forbidden. And obviously you asked the question. The Qaza haircut is not fade. So having a fade, I got a fade in it. This is not the Qaza haircut. The Qaza haircut is when the smallest blade of your hair, yeah, and the biggest have a minimum gap of 3 fingers only. 3 or 4 fingers. So meaning, if I did a blade 0, and basically, because you asked, like, you grab your hair now, yeah, and you measure it to 3 fingers, get 3 fingers, yeah, see, basically, you know what I'm saying? So when you get, like, you got your hair, that's fine, you tell the barber, trimming until it's less than 3 fingers, you get it. So the lowest, so I've got blade 0. The highest, the hair at the top of my head shouldn't be more than 3 fingers. That's Qaza haircut. Not these normal blade 0 and 2. If they want, they can, but this is not. And even they say that sometimes they say it's not haram. The big one they say it's halal, it's sunnah. Which is not a good thing, but it's just, you get it. Correct the same position Imam Badr al-Din. There you go, for Bilal is telling me. This is a position held by Imam Badr al-Din, Hasani. So this is the position, yeah? That's what Qaza haircut is. And people sometimes say, oh, like for me, or they say, oh, look, oh, this guy's the Imam, this guy's the people don't know the religion. Have you studied the religion? You know. You get it? So just make sure it's minimum. I can't remember it's 3 or 4, we'll stick with 3 to be clearer. Because if you do it 4 fingers, within a week it's going to grow anyway. So keep it at 3 fingers. Anything else? Okay, we're going to move on to Salah. Oh, there you go. So this is Tahara's covered now. Yeah, boys? Tahara's covered. You got no question on that for the thing? Tahara's covered. Okay, Bismillah. As you all know, namaz is fard here. And we have so within us, within our school, we have the sunnah, the fard, and the nafal, and the witr. Fajr is true sunnah, true fard. Everybody knows that. The true sunnah of fajr are very important. Why? They say that if you come into a jamaat and the jamaat has started, if you fear, you can pray the true sunnah before joining the jamaat, you should pray them. They say the richest man in the world in Islam is the one that prays the true sunnahs of fajr. That's how important it is. Second is Zohar, 4 sunnah, 4 true sunnah, true nafal. Asr, 4 sunnah, 4 fard. They say the 4 sunnah of Asr are ghair muakkada, meaning they're not as emphasized as the other sunnahs. So randomly, if you miss them, you wouldn't be simple. Maghrib, 3 fard, 2 sunnah, 2 witr. And then you have Maghrib, 3 fard, 2 sunnah, 2 nafal, sorry. And then Isha, 4 sunnah, again the beginning are ghair muakkada. 4 fard, 2 sunnah, 2 nafal, 3 witr, 2 nafal. Yeah? Just run over that quickly. Now, there is There is 6 preconditions to salah. Before you go into the masjid or before you're in a park or you're outside, before you pray namaz, there's 6 conditions before it that you must meet. If you don't meet these conditions, you won't be able to pray the salah. Okay? What are they? Number 1. Purity from ritual impurity, be minor or major. Meaning, you must be in ghusl and wudu. Okay? There must be ghusl and wudu. So, you yourself spiritually must be clean and you must have done ghusl. If you've done ghusl, wudu is already done. And you've done ghusl a week ago and you don't need to do it again, that's fine. You must have wudu though. That's condition 1 before you starting the prayer. Condition 2. Purity from physical impurity on the body, the clothes, and the place where you worship. And where you place your hands, feet, knees, and forehead. Meaning where you're going to go to namaz parso and your clothes. Your kapde must be clean, your clothes must be clean, your body must be clean, and jitha tu parso. Where your feet are going to touch, where your knees are going to touch, where your hands and head is going to touch, so that area must also be clean. I have a question for you now. You went to the park and you saw a dog, and the dog urinated on some grass. 1 hour later, you came back and somebody praying namaz. Is his namaz done? Or did he not meet the condition? It's not a trick question, I'm just asking what
It is because he didn't know.
Yeah. His namaz is done. Why is he done? Because number 1, Allah told us that the earth is pure, so we can pray anyway. Number 2, anything like sand and grass and rock, that is purified by Allah via what? Air and water, rain and air. So even though the dog urinated there, that's probably something to the grass. That person's probably look, you can't see, no telling him to taste the grass. You can see there's no, it doesn't look dirty, so you can pray. You yourself might, if a dog does a number 2 there, you might not want to pray there, that's fine, because you always think that's najasa. But if the place you're looking at looks clean, and you can't see a stain there, you can pray there. Same with the masjid carpet. If a child, bachara, comes and urinates, you don't start shouting at the child, oh, hey, it doesn't matter. You're not called a carpet cleaner, why do you can clean the carpet? You don't cut the carpet out, throw the carpet away, why do you carpet? If a bacha does tashab in the masjid, Allah can after you find it. There was a man that urinated in Masjid Nabawi. Which masjid is greater? Our masjid or Masjid Nabawi? And the Sahaba drew their swords. And the Prophet said, what are you doing? He said, we're not here to cause harm to people. He said, just get 3 buckets of water and clean the place. Obviously, get buckets of water here, no problem. You just get the carpet cleaned in it. If you can't see a stain, it's fine. So condition 1 is what? Ritual impurity for yourself, mind and makeup, you must be clean from. Condition 2, your clothes, your body, and the place you're going to pray must be clean. There shouldn't be any sort of stain or any sort of pieces or whatever. Condition 4, this one is very important. Wallahi, as my Aki say, uqsimu billah. So in the Pakistani say, Allah ni qasam. This is so important here. Some people come to the masjid wearing jeans and they do a sajda and you're like, Eid Mubarak to the guy in white. Do you get it? Your aura must be covered. Now let me tell you how bad the aura is, or let me tell you how serious the aura is. People think, young boys, for example, boys and girls, a lot of times you go to somebody's house and they'll be like, oh, nikah bunsa par jati ka prena. Imam or Dilani se ora nanga. Boys walk around in their boxers and their cartridges and walking around. Or girls will walk around in front of their family. That's fine, the family is fine for girls, like in front of a mom and stuff. But for a man, do you know the way you find your private area, something you should hide from people, yeah? Between your legs. For a man, that's not just your private area. You know your private area actually is from your belly button to your knees. From your belly button to knees. To knees. Now, there you go. Now I speak to you. Allow to translate and from your knob to your knees gutna here. So from your knob to your gutna, belly button to your knees. If somebody sees above your knee, that's like him seeing your groin. So I'll tell you straight up, real talk here, as they say. Shorts are haram in Islam. Wearing shorts is haram. If your parents buy you shorts, then it's sinful for them as well. For those of you laughing. If any of your family is sitting there, they buy you shorts, you should wear them. You should wear 3/4. And it's a shame on the Muslims that we didn't design nice 3/4. You know, people say, oh, you can't find nice 3/4. It's a shame on the Muslims. We should have designed nice 3/4. Shorts are haram. This is why some ulama say sometimes watching football is haram. Because there's a man running around in his little kata and you're watching him. Yeah, he's going to go. Go on.
What about if you have shorts that are just past me? Okay.
Yeah, look. Imagine now, yeah. Look how many 3/4 in it. Yeah, you can see. Imagine this with my shorts. These are covered. And my shorts are pretty, but if I sit down, they come to here. That's not allowed anymore. Or if you're wearing shorts that when you see the Imam, you have to pull them down and then cover your bum. People do that, in my area. I go to a barber shop with Safra's barbers here in my area. I'm very good friends. I'm not joking. Whenever customers come, boys are wearing shorts and they see me outside, they pull their shorts down and they cover their knees and they walk in. I mean, you covered your knees, who's going to cover your backside? Do you get it? It doesn't work anymore. 3/4. This is not only a precondition for prayer though. In prayer it's a precondition. But this is a precondition, this is a condition of life. Muslims should have their aura covered. Your aura should be covered at all times. Covering one's nakedness aura is to cover it with something that does not reveal what is under it. Even if it was mud or silk. Meaning there was a time people, to have ghayra, they properly covered themselves. The nakedness of aura, so now let me tell you this. The nakedness, the aura of a man is under his navel to just below his knees. So just below your knob. Just below your knob, just below, so your belly button can be shown. Just below your knob, including your knees, is for a man. And for a woman, is her aura entirely, meaning a woman should cover everything, or her arm, her feet and her face. The rest of the woman should be covered. Does that make sense? This is like for women now, no offense, but the women that get waxing done from other women is haram. To uncover yourself, become naked in front of another woman is haram. Men that go around wearing these small hot pants that can't change, we swear at other people and say, oh bro, this is true bro. How many people go to school and they cuss other people and say, oh bro, go gay, go this, go that. Bro, you're walking around wearing hot pants yourself. What are you talking about, mate? Is it haram itself? Don't laugh at someone and act like an idiot yourself. Covering your aura is very, very important. Very important. And this is not only just a precondition in prayer. Many people, many youngsters in today's day and age that play football, They miss namaz for football. Because if they play football, imagine the masjid put goalposts in the car park. Papa will come wearing these kache to the car park. They play football, Imam of their putter namaz, they win a namaz in the kache. Same with the women, you should cover yourself. It's very important. Now when I said Amantu Billah, if you believe in Allah, do you not think Allah is watching you? These are little sins that we don't even think about. One is a big guna. You swore at someone, or I disrespected an Allah, or I did something bad, or I did haram, or I told a lie, or I swore. These are big sins. What about the little sins that we do all the time? When we don't, like if the sisters don't have their hair covered or they're wearing tight clothing. Every man judges the women straight away. Men should look at themselves as well. We can't wear shorts. The whole community, half the community. In England, it doesn't even be hard to be wearing shorts. I'll tell you something what happened to me. Wallahi, I'm in the masjid. I went to Umrah and I saw this man and he had his ihram on, but his top one was off. His bottom ihram was tied by his groin. So, put your hand up if you've been to Umrah. Keep your hand up if you've seen somebody wearing ihram with his whole hair. You haven't. You haven't. Mard ihram laya on upper plate on dua. That's in the house of Allah in front of the Kaaba. Do we not fear Allah? We fear Allah, but we didn't study. This is why when we do Hajj groups or things, we see our videos online. We always say your bottom ihram varies between your belly button and your chest high. Why? Because if your top ihram gets lost, your whole eyes will covered. People take the top one off and the whole plate is in front of the Kaaba. So even though this is a precondition, the third condition of prayer, you should fear Allah and have your aura covered. May Allah gives us all the ability to keep our aura covered all the time. So number one was make sure you have wudu. Number two was make sure when you're praying it's pure. Number three was to have your aura covered. Number four is making sure the precondition, one condition before namaz is to make sure that namaz time has started. So I can't come into the masjid at 11 o'clock and make an intention for Zohar. You should also always look at Muslims now. You always know at work, your parents speak so it's lunchtime. And lunchtime. And then you moan if your gaffer says stay a bit longer. But look, it's shame on us and myself as well. Is it not shame on us that our body doesn't tell us it's time for Salah? That we don't wake up for Fajr. At midday we want to eat a sandwich but we won't pray Zohar. At Asr time we'll probably go home and have a break but we put our feet up but we won't pray Asr. At Maghrib time we drink some tea but we won't pray Maghrib. At Isha time we hit the bed but we won't pray Isha. This is our own fault, this is our fitrah. We should make our body an alarm for us, an alarm clock, that we know it's time for Salah. I've been with Haji Ismail, a great sheikh in Morocco. Wallahi, I'm not lying to you. He always woke up for Fajr before the Azhar and never had a clock. Where we stayed in the Zabla, there was no clock. And he woke up and he wake up and say, Allah, Allah, Salah, 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 Salah. And as he's waking, as we're doing wudu, obviously he used to wake up at prayer. I used to wake up by the time I'm doing my wudu, the Azhar started. I was so baffled, I never realized how this guy woke up. And once he said to me, he said, something wakes me up. That's why sometimes I think about it. Maybe something. And they say there was a wali like this once. There was a wali that shaitan either made him miss Fajr or Isha. I think it was Fajr. He was so sad. That in return, they say he read like 5,000-10,000 nafal. Shaitan will take on made the guy who's one namaz, he read 10,000 more. They said the next day, Shaitan woke him up himself. He said, try, you get it. If you swore every time, imagine your bad habit is swearing, or your bad habit is lying, and every time you did it, forget one time, you made a custom like, oh Allah, if I swear from now on, I'm going to put 10 times in sadaqah. You stop swearing. Why? Because you program your mind and it becomes a hallucination. The same way you should program your mind for salah. We need to program ourselves, it's on us. Amantu billahi, we believe in Allah. So if Allah can give a prophet in the stomach of a whale risk, if Allah can save prophets from around the world, if Allah can help Prophet Ibrahim and Musa in their calamities, be that in a whale or be that in a pit of fire, can Allah not wake us up? If you didn't have a clock and if Allah wanted to wake you up, could He wake you up? He couldn't. And we have alarm clock, we should set alarms. So condition 1, make sure you have wudu ghusl. Condition 2, make sure when you're praying and your clothes are clean. Condition 3, make sure your aura is covered. And condition 4 is to make sure the time of prayer has arrived. Condition 5 is to make sure you are facing the Qibla. And whoever is uncertain about it must endeavor to estimate and pray. He is not obliged to pray again. You're praying outside, you start praying, you pray that way. The next namaz, a Jamaat student, they face that way. The namaz is still there. But here I look up source as Muslims, we don't even know we face the Qibla in our cities. Anyway, why don't shops and places like this have signs for Qibla with Muslims? These are things you should know. So number 1, make sure you're in wudu and ghusl. Number 2, make sure your clothes and where you're praying is clean. Number 3, make sure your aura is covered. Number 4, make sure you have the knowledge of the time of prayer. Prayer is invalid if you start it before its time. Number 5, make sure you're facing the Qibla. And then number 6, make sure you have the intention, we say, Allah, make the intention. You pray, for example, Asr namaz, or you start facing the Qibla. And quickly, they say the time for Fajr is from dawn, which is from the rising of true dawn until just before sunrise, yeah? So, true dawn, so literally before peak sunrise, when the light spreads in the sky, that's Fajr. Zohar is from when the sun declines from Zawal, just say midday, up until the shadow becomes 2 lengths. So that's Zohar. The people in Pakistan today, in Pakistan, they don't, some Bhabe, like my grandma, Nani, says degree and peshi and for namaz. And they can wake up the namaz time looking at the sun and the shadow. They don't need a clock. Nani could be told, saying, peshi namaz kharega, degree namaz kharega. And I'm sitting here with an iPhone and a laptop and I have to check about 3 apps and making the namaz start. You get it? So Zohar is from when the sun has gone from its meridian time, so just since, I'd say midday, because midday is not always 5 o'clock, it's based on the sun. And from the peak of the sun, when it comes down a bit, Zohar starts, up until your shadow is 2 lengths. When your shadow is 2 lengths in the Hanafi school, Asr starts. If your shadow becomes double, so if I stand up and my shadow is 6 foot, I'm begging 5 foot 10. If my shadow is 5 foot 10, yeah, that's still Zohar. If my shadow becomes what? Just say 11 foot, then what time? Asr time, yeah? And then Asr is from 2 shadows, 2 length shadow up until sunset. And Maghrib is sunset up until the disappearance of twilight when it becomes Raat. Raat and daily means dark light, twilight, yeah? And Isha is basically night up until Fajr again. So every namaz is linked. The only link there is at the end of Fajr to Zohar, yeah? Every other namaz is linked, yeah? That's basically the salah. So these are the 6 preconditions of prayer. After the 6 preconditions of prayer, these are the 6 pre. Then for namaz, there's 6 conditions. In namaz now, so these 6 conditions, if you fulfill them, you pray your prayer, you can start the prayer. But now when you start the prayer, there's 6 conditions you must meet. Yeah? Condition number 1, tahrima. Allahu Akbar. The takbir tahrima, yeah? The tahrima is the intention of the prayer by verbally saying the name formula that is solely for Allah Most High. As long as it is a complete sentence of the condition that is verbally expressed here. So it says here that the key to prayer is purity. It's concentrated. Yeah, that's it. So when the Prophet would face the Qibla, he raised both hands. So in the Hanafi school, they usually raise both hands. Earlobe, and I think for the women, it's to their shoulders, yeah. Allahu Akbar. Now what's the problem with takbir today? The Imam is praying, and the Imam goes into Ruku. You know Ruku. And everybody knows that the Imam says Sami Allahu liman hamida, you miss the Ruku. So Baba comes running now, Formula 1 to join the Imam yet. As he joins the Imam, he says Allahu Akbar and he goes into Ruku. Has he joined the Ruku? If the Ruku is like this, have he joined it? Why not? I'll tell you why. Because even though the Imam was in Ruku, he said Allahu Akbar and he went into Ruku. Was that Allahu Akbar to go into Ruku, or was that Allahu Akbar takbir and takbir to start the namaz? You get it? Really what you should have done is Allahu Akbar and Allahu Akbar. Not into Ruku. Don't run. Don't run for namaz. Now put it away if you just wait 5 minutes and read 1 minute. Don't run to join the Ruku. If you miss the Ruku, if you miss now, it's gone. Why are you rushing now? You know, if you were rushing to please Allah, then that'd be good at it. But you're not rushing to please Allah. You're rushing because you want to get out the house of Allah. You don't want to stay longer. There's no other excuse for rushing. Do we rush in namaz to join the namaz so we can do dua? No, we don't. We rush because we need the namaz to finish so we can go home again. So takbir at-tahrima, Allahu Akbar. To say properly, Allahu Akbar, Allahu, no, nothing like that. People don't say Allahu Akbar properly. Allahu Akbar. Takbir at-tahrima. Once you say Allahu Akbar, your prayer has started. Number 2, Qiyam is to stand for the duration of the obligatory recitation for whoever is able to do so. So now Qiyam is, you stand, you read Salam, Subhanak Allahumma wa bihamdika wa tabarak asmuka wa ta'ala jadduk wa la ilaha ghayruk. Yeah? The nose billah part. Now, in the Hanafi school, all of us are Hanafi, I think majority watching the Hanafi in both rights. In the Hanafi school, you read the Sana behind the Imam and you read nothing else. If somebody next to you is reading something else, you don't start tapping him. Don't let him pray. He's probably a Shafi'i. We the Hanafis, when praying behind the Imam, we read the Sana, we pray nothing else. The Imam says Allahu Akbar, we say Allahu Akbar. Imam says Sami Allahu liman hamida, we say Rabbana wa lakal hamd. That's it. He says Salam, we say Salam. So we read nothing else. Okay? And we stand in Qiyam, we follow it. In a normal prayer, when you stand in Qiyam and you're praying yourself, you stand long enough that it takes you to read Sana, Fatiha and a Surah. That's how long you stand. For those that don't know what to pray. And those of you that don't know how to pray, you should learn to pray. However, if you find it hard, then whatever you do, know Bismillah and Fatiha, read the Quran, but stand for that long. Because if you don't know what to pray, you can't say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. It doesn't work like that. You have to read it in Arabic. And also stand for that duration. If someone's standing for a minute, you stand for a minute as well. If you don't know what to pray, just keep saying like Alhamdulillah. This is in the Quran and Alhamdulillah. Carry on. Condition 1, Takbir at-Tahrima. Condition 2 is what? Qiyam. Condition 3 is Qira'ah, to recite. To recite the Quran, simple recitation and not specifying a surah and not specifying Fatiha. So Allah says in the Quran, chapter 73, verse 20, so read as much of the Quran as you can read with ease. As an Imam as well, the Imam should always take count. The Imam should make the Salah as short as the person wants it. So if there's 50 people praying, and 49 of them want the Imam to read the whole of Surah Baqarah, and one comes and says, Imam Sahib, Surah Ikhlas, the Imam has to read Surah Ikhlas. If the Imam is reading a Salah, and he knows there's people and there's a kid crying, the Imam should shorten the Salah. The Salah is not to take people away from Allah, it's to bring them close to Allah. If the Imam's praying now, there's a kid crying and the Imam starts, Surah is not good. So recitation, yourself recite what you can. In every 2 rakats of the Fard Salah, you should recite Surah and Surah Fatiha of a Fard Salah. And in every other Salah, you should recite every surah. In every rakat, you should recite a surah and Surah Fatiha. Does that make sense? So in the Fard Salah, only in 2 rakats, so the 2 rakat of Fajr, the 2 Fard, the 2 rakats of Zohar, the first 2, the 2 rakats of Asr Fard, first 2, the 2 rakats of first 2 of Maghrib, and the 2 of Isha, the Fard. In all of them, you should recite what? Surah and Fatiha. In every other Sunnah and Nafal, you should recite Surah and Fatiha in every one. The Surah Fatiha and Surah Wolverhampton, Imam, and any Surah you want. And try to recite them in Taqdeer, yeah? Once you've done that, so you've done the Takbir Tahrima condition 1, these are the Faraid al-Salah. Then you've done the Qiyam, which is standing. So you've done the Tahrima, you've done the Qiyam, and you've done the Qira. You've done the reading. It says, recitation is obligatory in only the first 2 units of obligatory prayer, irrespective of whether the obligatory prayer is 2, 3 or 4, what I just mentioned. The recitation of the khalwa behind the Imam is makruh tahrimi during both audible and inaudible prayers. As the Prophet said, whoever has an Imam, then the recitation of the Imam shall be sufficient for them. And this is in Sunan Ibn Majah. So the Hanafis, we follow this hadith. If we are praying behind the Imam in Fajr, Zohar, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, whether the prayer is loud or quiet, we don't read nothing. We just read Sana, Subhanakallah, and that's it. Number 4 is Ruku. Now the Ruku here, I'll do it here so all you can see. In the books, Ruku is referred to as the bowing position. Okay, bowing is not sujood. Sujood is prostration. So Ruku, how do you do Ruku? So it says in the book, it is unanimously agreed. Bowing is to bend one's back forward such that one's fingers reach one's knees. So look, the sunnah way here. So everyone, can you see on the screen now?
Yeah, okay.
It's basically, you're praying, Allahu Akbar, you do that, you're praying it, you do it while you're reciting. When you go into Ruku, Allahu Akbar, you get your knees onto your, you get your palm of your hand onto your knees, you grip your hand, you have your back straight. Can you see? Yeah? So if I do it here, so the Yura is literally, you're going to Ruku, Allahu Akbar. Yeah? Your palm must be on your knees and you must grip your fingers. Yeah? Anything like this or like this, unless you have chronic back pain, or a proper medical, excuse, if you don't do these positions properly, then you're classed as a thief of Salah. And that's the biggest thief. Someone that thieves the movements, doesn't do the movements correctly. That's the bowing, yeah? So it says, yeah, it's agreed upon every unit of the individual who can perform. Bowing is to stoop, so the Ruku is to stoop the back and the head. Its minimum legal extent is the stooping of the back to such that if he were to stretch his hands, they would reach his knees, and its perfect position is for one to flatten his back and make his head level with his back. That is the bowing method for the one standing. Whereas bowing and prostration for the one sitting is attained by lowering the head slightly whilst bending the back, and its perfect position is not attained until his forehead is parallel and the front of his knees. Okay? So that's how the people standing. And if you're sitting, then you do a bow like this, and when you do sujood, you do a lower. Does that make sense? So we've done tahrim, we've done tahrima, we've done qiyam, we've done qira, and now we've done ruku. Part 5 of the prayer is sujood. Sujood. Now sujood, sujood, on live you probably won't be able to see, but I'll explain it first, is prostrating, like I said. So prostrating is to place one's forehead, hands and knees and one of the tips of the toes of both feet on the floor, provided that the place of which one puts one's forehead is not higher than the place of which one puts one's feet by more than half a cubit. So technically, if you're praying angle, always make sure you're facing down here. When you bow, your head must be lower or level with your feet. If your head's higher, that's not. If your head's higher, then that's not. Sorry, I said bowing is not prostrating. In the Western world, bowing, we say that it's not prostrating yet. Anything extra, he says, no. For the vegetative prostration, it's conditional for it to be performed on the rice. Okay. So it says here also as an extra note, it is obligatory to be performed twice in every minute. For the validity of prostration, it is conditional for it to be performed on a dry surface whereupon one's forehead settles, such as a rug or a mat, as against his cotton whereupon his forehead does not settle, which is why prostration is invalid. So you can't do on something too thick, like you can't play on a mattress, because it's not going to be proper yet. Now let me just show quickly on how the people should bow. This slide might be able to see. It's simple. When you bow, you come up from Rabu. You come up. When you bow, how in the Hanafi school it should be done is first your knees to touch the ground here. So your knees touch the ground. Then your hands touch the ground. Then your nose and your forehead. And your feet. Can you see my feet? Your feet should be like this here. And then when you get up, your nose first, your forehead first, then your nose, and your hands. Understood?
Yeah.
So basically, when you bow in the Hanafi school, when we go into sujood prostration, we drop on our knees first, then our hands, then our nose and our foot. So many people when they do sujood, they don't know. It's like if I had this book, if I was doing sujood on the book, it'd be like this. My nose and my forehead would be pressed on the floor. And for men and women is separate. The men must have their arms out. They shouldn't have their knees, their elbows touching the ground. Whereas when a woman does sujood, the sujood is more compact. The woman would like curl up, like a headlock. Do you get it? The woman curls up, her knees are like more on her thighs, and she does like more of a curl sujood. Whereas the men, we do sujood, our arms should be out. Obviously, you're saying in Jamaat, you can't have your arms out, but your knees, because there's a hadith that says don't do sujood and basically replicate a dog. You know, when a dog sits, don't do the sujood like a dog. Make sure your forearm and your elbows are above the ground. Make sense here? And the final condition is al-qudum al-akhir, is the final sitting. This takes place at the conclusion of the prayer and is obligatory for every type of prayer. The extent of the obligatory sitting, according to the most correct opinion, is to the extent of the recitation of the at-tahiyyat. For the Prophet said, when you raise your head from the final prostration and you sit to the extent of the tashaddud, your prayer is thus complete, and this is in Kitab al-Fiqh, and that is your 6 obligatory acts of prayer. However, with that, going over it quickly, these are just the fard of prayer. There's also wajibat of prayer. If these are missed, if you miss the fard of prayer, obviously your prayer is not done if you miss the prayer. But once I've done this, the rest is quick. I'll go over you now. The wajibat are simple. I'll just read them out to you. And they are recitation of Surah Fatiha and adding the Surah. This is wajib. You have to do this. Number 2, to fulfill the positions, complete satisfaction in fulfilling the positions. Make sure every limb does its position correctly. Make sure you bend your back correctly, you stand correctly, you do the bowing correctly. Number 3 is wajib. That every 2 rakat you sit down in at-tahiyyat. Number 4, the reciting of at-tahiyyat. And number 5 is salam. In the Hanafi school, we say assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Yeah? And after that, it's the witr. Make sure you do your read dua qanut. If you don't read dua qanut, you read any dua, you should try and learn dua qanut. And also make sure that in the witr of the Hanafi school, after your second rakat, when you read At-Tahiyyat, you stand up, you read a surah, Surah Fatiha, then you read a surah, and then you do takbir, Allahu Akbar. That's your witr now. For that you read Dua Qanut, and then you continue the prayer as normal. And the other wajibat, therefore extra things here. That is that's basically the salah done as well. After now, so we've done tahara, we've done salah, and now we move on to these things. I'm going to read quickly. This is what breaks the prayer. Okay, these things, if you do these things, your namaz is invalid. That which makes the prayer invalid. Number one, excessive action. Action which is not which an onlooker would consider and think you're not in prayer. So if you're reading namaz, you're standing on the road reading, and I walk past you and you're there like tightening your belt or fixing your jacket or checking your phone, and I look and think, what are you doing? You're not done, you're not praying. When you're praying, if somebody walks past you, they should know you're praying by looking at you. If you're there, like some people at the phone. You don't do that. If you want to turn your phone off, you turn it off with the most minimum action. You don't, like, if I'm praying now and my phone's in my pocket, I don't be praying and then I take it and push it. You don't put your hand in your pocket, you put it on.
Like sometimes if I've got my shirt tucked in, I just come out over that, come under that.
No, but you should do it minimum movements. Number one, you shouldn't try and break both hands. One hand, you get it. This is why in reality men should always carry a longer coat with them or a juba or wear bigger t-shirts. If you ever see me ever on the road, catch me sleeping without juba, I wear like a bigger t-shirt. I always wear a bigger t-shirt. You're going to be like, look, you're talking about aura. And I thought, you get it. You always try to wear bigger clothes. Like, Swar means it's not bad. Number two, uttering a word even if you mean less or forgetful. If you accidentally say something during namaz, the namaz breaks. Number three, supplicating with words that resemble human speech. When you start saying something for no reason. Number four, saying salam. Somebody walks in and says assalamu alaikum, you're praying wa alaikum salam, the namaz breaks. Number five, if you give somebody salam when they walk in, the namaz breaks. Number six, if you're facing the qibla and your chest turns away from the qibla. Meaning if you accidentally look at something, okay, if your chest turns away from the qibla, the namaz breaks. Number seven, eating something from outside of the mouth. There's something goes into your mouth and you eat it. Number eight, eating something the size of a chickpea. Or not size, I can't remember the size of a chickpea. If something's stuck in your teeth, sometimes that's like you've done job like that in prayer. If you take something out your teeth in salah and then you end up swallowing it in the matrix. Eating something the size of a chickpea. Drinking water, you're praying namaz, you're really thirsty, you go into sujood, and you go into sujood, you get up and pop the ball. Yeah? Namaz broke. Number 10, clearing one's throat by coughing without a legitimate reason. So, the Imam's praying, he feels good to breathe. He generally goes off the mic. Properly, that's fine. But if somebody gets excited and starts copying the Imam, his namaz breaks it. If you're praying yourself, you don't need to excessively cough. Every person knows, I might have like a bad burglar problem, I need to cough. Why are you coughing? Excessive coughing for no reason will break your salah. Raising one's voice in crying due to pain or calamity. Not crying in salah, some people read the dua of parents, Rabbi firhamhuma kama rabbayani saghira, and you start crying. That's it. When you're praying and something falls on the back of your foot, and you scream or do whatever, your namaz breaks. Responding to someone sneezing, somebody sneezes, you say, Alhamdulillah, yarhamakallah, your namaz breaks. Reciting from the Quran that which one has not memorized. So in the Hanafi school, you can't hold the Quran and read namaz. Someone was just chewing on break your salah later. So you can concentrate chewing on what concentrate. If you can't, in the Hanafi school, you can't hold the Quran or look at the Quran and pray. It's not allowed. Performing an integral or the possibility of a performance with one aura exposed or prevention amount of filth on your clothes will break your salah. So if your aura gets uncovered, your salah breaks. This one is very important for everybody. बहुत सारे लोग के where does the Imam stand here? You know, people sometimes they raise the Imam. I'll tell you how. The Imam reads the surah and everybody reads behind him. The Imam goes into the pool, When the Imam goes into the pool, the Imam gets up. You know, the guy behind the Imam gets up, he starts going down. You know what I mean? And our Imam says, the Imam goes, goes into the pool. You can't do that. If you pray, if you look at people properly that follow the Imam, when the Imam says Allah Akbar, when he gets Akbar, or when he finishes, that's when you go down. What's this like? Some people, you know, they know the Imam is Surah and they know it's about to finish, they start going down. You see people do that? You can't do that. Or between sujood, people go down. You can't. For a follower to precede his Imam in an integral in which his Imam performance is not coincide with his. The Imam is about to make a move and you decide to raise him because he's passing a few days namaz edition. Now what's happened is your namaz broke. Your namaz broke now, finish. Why you come to namaz? You want to raise someone, go on a track. These are things that break your prayer. I prayed Dua Qunut from a book and I don't really know what should I do. If you pray Dua Qunut here and you don't know Dua Qunut, you should read another dua that's from the Quran. Rabbana firli wa liwalidayya. Read a dua that you do know, and that should be fine. Okay. I'll try to wrap in 30 minutes. Okay. Is everyone okay? We did say 5. I do apologize. Okay. Sorry. I'll try to finish in 30. What time does it start?
At 5.
Starts. 10 minutes, that's it. Okay, I'll try to finish before. I'll finish before that, inshallah. Sorry about this one. Okay, so zakat now. Zakat, In regards to zakat, we have. He says it is to pay it to an eligible recipient accompanied by the intention for it. So number one, who is zakat fard on? Which people must pay zakat? Number one, Islam, a Muslim. You can't tell a non-Muslim to pay zakat. It has to be a Muslim. Number two, somebody who has hit puberty. I told you the age of puberty. Once you hit puberty, be that between 9 and 12 for a woman, 12 and 15 for a man. Once you become what's known as baligh and you have nisab, you must pay zakat. If you become baligh and you have nisab, you must pay zakat. Number three, you must be sane. If you're mentally unfit and even if you get disability allowance or whatever, but mentally you're not fit, there's no zakat, you don't pay zakat. And number four is you must have nisab. So you must have nisab and you must have had that nisab for a year. So if you had money saved for a year, and look how dangerous this is, I'll tell you something. Imagine you had 6,000-7,000 pounds saved here. And every year you pay zakat, that's good. But every year Hajj comes as well. You have enough money to go Hajj, if you don't, that's also haram. But you only do Hajj once. Once Hajj is done, so I did Hajj this year. You couldn't even save. Still have to give zakat though. But if you save money and you don't go to Hajj, this is haram. If you have the money to go Hajj and Hajj comes, when does it become haram? During the days of Hajj. As soon as the days of Hajj start and you didn't try to go Hajj and then you didn't go Hajj, you haram now. Same with zakat. You have zakat for a year. Look, the problem with us people is everybody gives zakat in Rosé. Nobody thinks to themselves, when did I have this money? You got money in December, I got money in March. Why are we both giving a Rosé in June? Your zakat was fard in December, my zakat was fard in March. And today life is easy, you've got bank statements. you should be able to check. When you come into money, you should be able to write it down that this is my date. Have I got nisab? And nisab is easy now anyway. There's Islam and that much I was wanting. So nisab here, the nisab of gold is 85 grams. It's disputed, some ulama say 100 grams, but we go with the seeker's aid today. And he says here 85 grams or 700 grams of silver. Yeah? If you have value of 85 grams of gold or 700 grams, now somebody would say, Imam sir, 85 grams of gold is obviously as operating as 7 tole. 7 tole of gold, Imam sir, weighs in money is more than 700 grams of silver. So which one should I give? So obviously you would think that I'll give you a gold, then I have to give less zakat. The ulama say you give zakat on that which will benefit the poor people the most, which is the silver. So your nisab is less. The current nisab, not to date by the way, is about 380 pounds. If you have more than 380 pounds in savings, yeah, then you become sahib nisab. Anything more than that, you have to give zakat. There's also people, you must remember, that have money, but they can't accept zakat and they can't give zakat. Meaning they got enough money to live or whatever, but they're not a fakir now, they can't accept zakat, but at the same time they don't have to pay zakat. Does that make sense? That's another point you should remember. Okay. That's that. Because what does Allah say in the Quran? وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَأَتِيُوا الزَّكَاةَ. So now establish the prayer and pay your zakat and obey Allah and His Messenger. That's what the Quran says here. So when do you give zakat? You're a Muslim, you hit puberty, you're baligh, you're a saint, you have aql, you know what to do, and you have nisab. What is the wisdom of zakat? I'll quickly tell you. The wisdom is, number one, to purify yourself from the vileness of stinginess and greed, conjusi and greed. There's two problems we have. Either we proper show they conjus, or like magar much like or something. You want to keep it. Zakat is to save you from that. So if you give zakat, you won't be stingy and you won't be a conjus. You won't be conjus and you won't be a greedy by that. Number two, to conceal the poor and fulfill their needs is to help the gharib. Number five, to help acts of Muslims. Normally the Muslim riyasa would give, that doesn't happen anymore. And number four, the main point to give zakat is to restrict its accumulation of wealth within the few rich. That's why people don't give zakat today. You know, in Pakistan, we have these big, I don't want to say no names, they have these big ministers here, and they give like 5,000-6,000 rupees zakat. No hope of God, and no, they don't. We have big Portia now and big land cruisers, and we don't give zakat. How can you be a malik of a 40 and a land cruiser and your neighbor is Sufi? Are we Muslim? We will be questioned about our neighbors as well. How are you to the 40 neighbors on the left and the 40 on the right? So these are the reasons we give zakat, yeah? Now, in regards to this, we say that to whom Allah has bestowed. He says here, to whom Allah has bestowed His wealth, and he does not pay zakat, his wealth will appear on the day of judgment as a smooth-headed poisonous male snake with 2 black spots over its eyes, and it will be placed around his neck. It will grab his jaws and say, I am your wealth, I am your treasure, and it will then recite the ayah. There are zakat needed, for him on the day of judgment, you will be given a black snake around your neck, and he will say, I am your wealth, don't buy now. This is why they say there's 2 things in this world, dawlat, wealth, and ilm. They say dawlat is a rope. No, they say dawlat, money is a noose around your neck. Dawlat is a rope around your neck. Ilm is a shield. Dawlat will take you to the grave. Ilm will protect you. Dawlat will take you to Jahannam. Ilm will take you to Jannah. This is just one narration of those that don't pay zakat. Then we say, so we said who zakat is given to yet. And then obviously there's different rulings now on how to give zakat on cows and camels and stuff. You can speak to your local ulama about that, that's too much. But then who are need of zakat. This is chapter 9, verse 60. So it says, إِنَّمَا الصَّادِقَاتُ لِلْفُقَرَاءِ وَالْمِسْكِينَ. So it starts off by saying, the prescribed alms are only for the poor and those in need and the workers who administrate the prescribed alms and those whose hearts are inclined, and for the freeing of slaves and those in debt, and for those spending in the way of Allah, and the traveller and an obligation from Allah. There's two types of gharib. Gharib ne do qisman now. Fakir and miskin. One is a fakir, one is a miskin. What's a fakir? A fakir is someone who is poor. The one who has less than nisab, the one who owns less than nisab, to give in charity to a poor. So a gharib is someone, a fakir wo banda hai jisko daulat hai but nisab ko lukati. So he has money, probably a mazdoor or somebody, but he's a gharib, uski zakat lagni, you can give him zakat. It's afzal to give a poor alim a zakat, or say, agar tusa ko ek anpar gharib hai, like jahil gharib hai, it's afzal to give the clever one, or school teacher hai, or mazdoor hai. If it's a complete jahil gharib, you don't give it to him. You should find somebody. A maskeen though, known as a dispute, is he who has nothing at all. He needs to beg for food and even clothing to cover. Maskeen hona jis bechare ko kuch nahi. खाली जेरे कपड़े लाए उसको आया खाने ते उसकी को नहीं पता क्या नफसी सबसे अफजल of zakat उसकी है miskin की. Miskin is more afzal than gharib. So number one is a poor person, number two is a destitute person who has nothing, number three is the one who administrates zakat. It's the hakuma. Normally in Islamic countries एक बंदा होना जो zakat collect करना है उसनी हुकूमत zakat की उसकी तनख्वाह दे सके. So he's the one that collects zakat. आपको नहीं कोई चेयरमैन करता आपने collect zakat. The government makes it, and then the government takes the zakat and gives him a percentage if he's allowed. Number four is used to be those that wanted to become Muslim. But the Prophet took that out now. So if somebody wanted to join Islam, you could give them zakat because their family disowned them or whatever. But you don't do that, that's cancelled. Number five, the freeing of a slave. That's not, we don't do that. Number six, Sabtu Afzal, another one here. It's called Amir Banda Bilkul Zakat Judiga. Qarze Judiga. Someone's drowning in debt. The ulama say, is it better to give the gharib or the one in debt? It's afzal to give the one in debt. But all in debt, not like our million someone that he needs to help, we help him, he's dying in debt, he's struggling, he's drowning in debt, you can help him. Number seven is fi sabilillah, giving zakat in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to a tulabul ilm or to a ghazi or to a haji, for somebody to do that, you can give them. Number eight, this one you need to understand. Number eight is a musafir. When banda, he comes to travel with a millionaire, he has money, और उसको सब कुछ नहीं किया आपने लाके तो बल भरा लेके दिया वो उसको किच नहीं उसकी तो ज़कात दे सकते हो कि हालिकात होती है. You can give him some money so he can go home. पर मैं उसकी कराने अपने घराए में उसकी ज़कात ना लगाओ अपने मुल्क में. आजकल दुख when you go to Umrah today हमारे ना नहीं होया you go Umrah and people be there they say जनाब गुंबद में कसम खाने थे वो that's bad. हरम में क्यों जाता लोग you have to be careful. Even when you give zakat though, for a fakir, miskin, for a ghazi, for a haji, when you give zakat, you need to be careful. Bande ki apni research apni khud karni chahiye. You should do research and uski zakat na. Pure putra ki nahi de sakna zakat. One man asked an alim, he said, Shaykh, can I give zakat to my parents? Main apne walidain ki zakat de sakna? The Shaykh said, Nana ka mani. The Shaykh said, Tuare par nana hai. And your parents use zakat. If you are rich, how can your parents need zakat? When you think, you should be careful. When you can't give your blood relatives down or up, your grandparents, great-grandparents, your grandchildren, great-grandchildren. But these things you should learn on who you can and can't give zakat to. You cannot give zakat to a non-Muslim. You can't give zakat, like I said, to your parents, grandparents, grandchildren. You can't give zakat to your wife can't give it to her wife can't give it to her husband. You can't give it to a slave or a wealthy person. You can't give zakat to a Sayyid, Bani Hashim ki zakat nahi lagni. You can't use zakat to build a masjid. Nale zakat, you can't give zakat, nale zakat, usane kafan waste nahi, koi sakni koi pame greeb mari jaye, usane zakat, usane kafan waste na de sakte. No, madrasa ne tulabul ilm ki de sakte, madrase ki. For the tulabul ilm you can. Look, अगर एक मदरसे में यानी कि 3 बच्चे पढ़ने हैं, ठीक है? तो उन्होंने जेरे गार्डियन है, उन्होंने जिम्मा उस्ताद है, उन्होंने की तुसां जो के बच्चा बना को दे सकते हैं। मदरसा 4 देते थे उन्होंने दे सकते, जब मदरसे ने बिलना देता है, बच्चा की दे सकते हैं। उन्होंने क्या हाँ, ये 3 बच्चे या जेरे तुलाबुल इन बच्चे, तुलाबुल इन को हम मापियों में जेरी they go to another country to give, you can give them zakat, and you can't give zakat to buy a slave. Yeah. That's simple, yes. That's zakat is done. Zakat is done. Now we are to fasting. Fasting and zakat is probably the same in the sense that who has to keep a fast? You keep a fast if you're Muslim, you're sane, and Roza kis tarah na, Roza usko na, the person who's a Muslim, Musliman ba, he's sane, he's right-minded, level-headed. For a woman, she is not in menstruation or alternating bleeding. And the person in the Hanafi school who's going to keep a fast can make the intention after iftari but before Sahri the next day. Masalul bande iftari ki thi. Iftari se baad ko duwe de arane roze nahi to kari sakta. Hone.
Arish ka budget hai
wa. So if you want to keep a fast once you've done iftari, if you're a Muslim and a woman, for example, not in haid and nifas, and you're sane-minded, you can make the intention after iftari for the next day. Does that make sense? Yes? What does the fasting mean? It is to abstain from the 2 appetites, that of the stomach and the genitals, during the day with the intention to fast. So, the zakat is so fasting any haliku khana maro. It's not just to starve. Allah ki tusani bhukh nahi chahiye. Allah doesn't need you to starve, but you should control your stomach and your private areas as well as your eyes and your ears. Don't look at haram. Any thode log, puri raat jaagne rehne, sahi kari sahi rehne, buri bagram rehte. What kind of fasting is that? You should fast properly. Then he goes on to say, the integral is restraining any of those things that break the fast from reaching intentionally or unintentionally to the stomach, or that what bears the same ruling. You should also try and not to drink water by mistake and so on and so forth. You should refrain from sexual intercourse or ejaculation throughout, wherever it may be. You should try to avoid kissing and touching your spouse so you don't get sexually aroused. A wet dream, however, does not break the fast. Whoever breaks the fast through sexual intercourse by eating something deliberately and not under duress, and nothing unexpected befalls him afterwards, which allows him to break the fast. So if you break your fast intentionally, then you might have to give a kafara. You have to give some sort of penalty. Be that, for example, if you miss a fast, like आजकल लोग ये रोज़ियाँ की वैल्यू को नहीं देते. नींदर आई रात पूरी रात टैक्सी की थी बिरयानी की दुकान को नहीं रखनी. एक रोजा मिस करने ने पूरी 7 रोजे रखने लगे. And the ulama said अगर एक बंदा रोजा मिस करा तो आइंदा पूरी 50 साल से हर रोज रोजा रखा उस एक ने भी रोजा में कोई नहीं रखा. मतलब कि वो एक जरा उस मिस के था, the one you missed, the reward of that वो को नहीं मुकम्मल है. वो जरा नेकियां से को देना. Yeah. So let's look at let's look at what doesn't invalidate the fast. Forgetting that he was fasting, does he eat, drinks, and so on. Applying oil, people go wearing oil to the hair breaks the fast, it doesn't. Having blood or cupping done doesn't. Backbiting doesn't break the fast. Intending to break the fast but not breaking it doesn't break the fast. Smoke or dust which goes into your mouth by accident doesn't break the fast. Waking up in the morning in the state of junub doesn't break your fast. Water entering your ears doesn't break the fast. Swallowing phlegm doesn't, you shouldn't swallow excess of phlegm. Vomited, saw something disgusting, vomited doesn't break your fast. Egg or stuck between his teeth or was less than a chickpea doesn't break your fast. Chew something like the size of a sesame seed from outside his mouth until it disappeared. So chewed it. It was small and then it disappeared, that doesn't break the fast. But it is mandatory for the following to abstain from eating and drinking for the rest of the day. Those of you that break a fast, you should still refrain from eating and drinking. That makes sense? Just when you broke your fast doesn't mean you're not going to have a 3-course meal in front of everybody else. A woman menstruating or postnatal bleeding becomes ritually pure. So a woman was on a period and through the day she became pure. Yeah? So a woman couldn't fast. At Sari time she was bleeding. At Zohar time, for example, after Zohar time she became pure. She should now refrain from eating and drinking. A child who reaches puberty after Zohar should refrain from eating and drinking. A disbeliever who embraces Islam after Zohar. Remember this, agar banda sehri mein waqt na utha, but he wakes up before the start of dawn, before midday for example, before like 20 minutes of Zohar. Without eating and drinking, he can make the intention for Roda and Roda will be done. Does that make sense? So if you woke up for Sehri, you didn't wake up for Sehri, but you woke up 10 o'clock in the morning, you can make the intention for fasting and you fast it. Yeah, Ramadan. Sehri is not part of the condition, but it's a blessing. There's many blessings in Sahur, and they are mentioned. I'll read one of them to you. They are mentioned in the books here, page 2. One of the main conditions of Sahur is mentioned, and why it's a blessing, and that is because the difference between our fasting and the fasting of the people of the book, number one is Sahur. The Prophet ﷺ said, take Sahur, it's a blessing. None of you should omit it, even if any of you should just take a sip of water. For Allah and His angels invoke blessings upon those who take Sahur. Meaning, Sehri nahi honi. Kam se kam banda uthi da pani na glass piya. Barkta hi. You should do that at the bare minimum, yeah? The following is disliked. Tasting chewing gum, so you shouldn't have chewing gum. No, tasting or chewing something for no reason is disliked. Eating chewing gum during fasting is disliked. Kissing because of the exchange of saliva is disliked. A man touching a woman's private part or a woman touching the man's husband and wife is disliked. Collecting saliva in your mouth, not sabi adil. Collecting saliva in the mouth is also disliked. Bilal writing, and here the main book I'm using is the Seeker's Aid. Seeker's Aid, people ask. Collecting saliva in one's mouth and then swallowing it is disliked. And anything one believes that will weaken him from continuing to fast. So if you know you're fasting and you think I'm just going to go play football, but you know by playing football is going to weaken you, then that's disliked as well. Or getting cupping will be disliked as well. What's recommended is to have the Sahur and hasten toward Iftar and delay the pre-dawn meal, and everything else is. That is basically your fard ain, basic fard ain done. We done tahara, we done salah, we done saum, we done zakat. We leave Hajj, the whole year to Hajj. if the masjid want to do Hajj later, I do Hajj workshops throughout the day, but I don't think it's, if anyone, no, so Hajj we do. If anyone's got any questions now while sitting here on the sister side in regards to Tahara, Salah, Saum or Zakat, you can ask them. Or whatever holds your peace.
Yes,
Oh yeah. What do you want to know?
Or what time do you go to the
Tahajjud, no time. You pray Isha, you go to sleep. You wake up before the start of Fajr. So before the start of Fajr, and you can pray. You can pray your Tahajjud. But you have in the Hanbali school, we go to sleep after Isha, and then wake up before Fajr to pray Tahajjud. If you don't, then it's classed as Qiyamul Layl, standing in the night. And this is something very important. That look, if you have problems in life, before you go to Tawizat and Peers and whatever, there's something you should do. Number one, pray your 5 daily prayers in Jamaat with wudu. Yeah? If that doesn't work, then after Isha, do Qiyamul Layl. After Isha, pray extra prayers. If that doesn't work, after you pray your extra prayers, also pray Tahajjud prayer. If that doesn't work, then there's a Sunnah Salat or Salatul Khajat. If that doesn't work, then increase your recitation of the Quran. If that doesn't work, then start again from the beginning, it doesn't work. Because guaranteed with all these it will work. Pray your 5. Many of us are in Musibat, this Musibat, that we don't even pray on namaz. Then you want a taweez. Why do you want a taweez? Pray your namaz and go to Allah first. Pray your salah. Do Qiyamul Layl. Stand in the night. How many people give up half the night of sleep to pray to Allah? We don't. How many of us have so many missed salahs that we don't pray? These are the things that we should try to emphasize. Any questions on that side? Any questions on this side? Make dua. Jazallahu anna Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa ma huwa ahli. Jazallahu anna Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa ma huwa ahli. Jazallahu anna Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa ma huwa ahli. We pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses all those who attended and watched online. Gives us all the ability to act upon what has been said.
Ameen.
We pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for anybody who is living here or within their family, if anybody is ill, we pray that He grant shifa.
Ameen.
We pray for learning about the sunnah of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. If anyone is facing any hardship, I pray God grant ease.
Ameen.
We pray for the Muslims of Palestine, Yemen, Kashmir, Afghanistan, and all those Muslims oppressed around the world. We pray Allah will give us all the ability to do more for our Muslim brothers.
Ameen.
We pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us to stand for the rights of the Palestinian people and all the Muslims oppressed around the world.
Ameen.
We pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us good knowledge which is beneficial. We pray Allah allows us all to seek His forgiveness. We pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us all the ability to visit Al-Madinah Al-Munawwara and Al-Mukarramah. We pray Allah will allow those of us whose parents are alive to honor our parents.
Ameen.
Those whose parents are passed away, we pray Allah will grant them Jannatul Firdaus.
Ameen.
Those of us who have loved ones who we no longer talk to, we pray Allah allows us to reconcile within our relationships.
Ameen.
And those of you that have any made guys, those of you watching or those of you sitting here within your heart, if they are good for you, I pray Allah accepts them.
Ameen.
And if they are not, then I pray Allah grants you that which is better.
Ameen.
And I pray all of us are granted the death with Iman, with the kalima on our lips.
Ameen.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله آمين يا رب العالمين.